is a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
Hey Nursing 1 students, we're here to give you guys advice and tips on studying and basically just surviving throughout your throughout the nursing program. So what do you want to say?
It's really important to have time management skills. First semester I really didn't know what to do. I come in and sometimes I'm late to lecture, actually most of the time. But, okay, you know what, gosh, okay, why would you do that?
Okay, in regard to stress management, you have to learn how to plan. That's something I didn't do before. You want to get an agenda and write everything down. It's going to change. The calendar that they give you is going to change. But if you can have an agenda where you're writing the things down and have it coded where this is lab test, this is clinical, this is lecture, it'll help you when you look forward to planning your week and your month, because you're going to have to start thinking more advanced. You can't just think about this is test this week or this is test next week. You have to start thinking about I have these 2 tests plus a paper plus A, B, and C. And if you have a family, you also need to put that in your agenda, because it gets to a point where nursing is so overwhelming at times you can put them on the back burner. So to have an agenda, to write it all down, will help you be more organized, and organization is truly the key. It is crazy sometimes in nursing and you will feel like you're losing your hair. That's why a lot of us cut our hair off. So you want to make sure that you have yourself organized as possible. That's definitely something that you'll learn through nursing, something that you pick up throughout.
Managing your home life and your school life. That is a tightrope balancing act. It can get difficult. The main thing that you need to is communicate. Communicate with your family members, with your spouse, with your children, whoever it is, if you still live at home with your parents. Sit down with them one day when they have a little time and show them everything that's expected of you, because I think that I hear some people say they just have no idea the amount of work that I have to do, and probably they really don't. So sit down with something, your syllabus, something that lines out how many chapters you're expected to read in a week, your care plan that takes you anywhere from 5 to, people like me, 8 hours. I spend a tremendous amount of time writing my care plans because I'm a little slower than most. And sometimes my husband sees me sitting there on the computer for hours on end. So just communicate with them, let them know what you're doing, what you have to do, and then try to schedule a little extra time to go be with them. Try to set that little time aside. Go to the movies, 2 or 3 hours. Spend a little time with them. It's good for you. It's good for you to help manage your stress. You'll be a little happier, and you'll do better in school if you set aside that a little bit of time for yourself and for your family sometimes.
For clinicals, be on time also, always be on time. Again, review your skills every time. You're going to be nervous for every clinical. You're going to feel nervous. No matter where you're at, no matter who your instructor is, you're going to feel nervous. So just try to stay calm. Have a good night's sleep before the clinical. If you have any clinical homework, do it way ahead of time. Don't be, the last minute, 11 o'clock clinical day, before the clinical day doing your work. You're going to set yourself up for failure, and you're going to feel more nervous and anxious. So just plan ahead. Print out copies of everything you're going to need for your clinical way ahead of time. Make a good impression. Every clinical you have, put your best foot forward. You're going to hear that a lot. So you're going to have fun in nursing school. It's going to be challenging. If you have a family, a spouse, or significant other, it's going to be challenging. So just maybe on Saturdays or Sundays or whatever, try to make some time for them, because it is going to be challenging. Sit with them, bring them to Chem 101 and, have them listen to how challenging it's going to be and how much time it's going to, require. So, but enjoy, have fun, and you're going to learn so much. I mean, by the time you finish nursing too, it's going to be like, man, it's been 4 years, you're going to accumulate that much of knowledge during the semesters. But okay, have fun. Later.
So as far as clinical goes, what I wanted to give you guys tips about is I would say be a go-getter. Don't always do exactly what your clinical instructor says, but do more and go search out patients that you don't know anything about their disease and you don't know anything about the pathophysiology and their medications, new things. That's the main thing I would do in clinical. And anytime that the clinical instructor comes to you and asks you about a medication, be ready to talk to them about that medication before you give it. That's a really big thing with both of my past clinical instructors.
I wanted to add something about the clinical. Always seek out extra opportunities to practice your skills. Yeah. Even if it's not on your patient, ask the other nurses on the floor or the other students if they have something you can do. That way your clinical instructor sees that you're trying to exceed, and they will recognize that in your grading as well.
Very true.
So
we hope you guys do really well and you succeed in your nursing school, and we're glad to have you.
Hi Nursing 1 students, my name is Esther. I'm Nursing 2, and I just wanted to give you guys a couple of tips on lecture and studying for lecture. Number 1 tip, don't miss lecture. If at all possible, never miss lecture. I've never missed lecture, but I've been late a couple of times, and even the little bit amount of time that's passed kind of throws me off, so don't miss lecture. Study right away. Don't get behind. You don't want to be at the day before trying to absorb all this information, because it's not going to stick.
Another thing would be like what kind of books do you
read ahead before lecture.
Yes.
You want to read ahead so you can stay on top of things, so you won't feel lost during lecture. I personally didn't do it first, during Nursing 1, but definitely learned my lesson for Nursing 2. So it never hurts to prepare ahead of time. Do not procrastinate. That's like the worst thing you can do while you're in the program. Yes. If you can start it early. Go to every single lecture. It's very, very important to go to lecture. Especially lab. Lab is, it's mandatory. You have to be in lab. Do not be late in anything. Professors don't really like that. They take that into account. They look at everybody. I know there's going to be like more than 100 of you guys, but they do look at everybody's attendance and stuff like that, so don't take that lightly.
Also, during lecture, if you read ahead, it's like light bulbs start like lighting up. You know, it's like, oh, I read this. Because, I mean, if you read it once, it can go away so quick. But if you read it once and you heard it again, you know, you're using all of your senses. You're seeing it, you're reading it, you're saying it, you're talking to your friends about it. Sometimes you just walk down the street and, oh, this person has this. Because then you're like, oh, it's all like, all those myelin sheets, they're all like connecting each other. It's just like a light bulb. So, yeah. So funny. It's true.
She's very visual,
Yeah.
but some of you guys will be
Oh
like,
yeah, that too. You have to know how you're gonna study. Like, you know, you have to know what type of learner you are.
Yes.
Like if you're audio, visual, whatever. Some people record their notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's helpful
Some
too.
people handwrite their stuff, their notes. Some people type on their computers.
And
people
I
just
know
have different ways.
you're gonna have to like kill a lot of trees. Well, you're not really killing them because they've already been killed when you have the papers. So, I mean, you're gonna spend so much money on ink, but it's only for 2 years. And you need all those things to like read ahead, and it doesn't help to just have them in your computer. For me, I have to hold it in my hand. So.
They will give you a list of books to purchase.
Purchase all of them.
I personally didn't buy all of them, but of course the majority of ones,
I bought all of them.
like the Bruners, you know, Olds
Didn't
Maternal. I mean, it's
Just
people
buy
are
what
gonna
you-
have different financial needs,
Yeah.
so I'm sure not everyone's gonna buy, you know, every single book that's listed on there.
I did,
But when
I
it
don't
comes
use all of them.
to the NCLEX and HESI test prep books,
Yes.
please purchase that. That is gonna help you throughout the whole nursing program, especially for exams. Practice NCLEX questions prior to exams. That's gonna help you what kind of questions the professors are gonna give y'all for, you know, during test days. What else?
Because testing is tough. I
Yeah,
bought this
'cause you
book
can't-
too. It's like the test days.
Because you can study all your notes and all that stuff, but if you don't test yourself with practice questions, you won't really get to know you won't really get to find out what you know about
You gotta
them
know
until you just
how
studied,
to access that material.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could memorize everything and then come to class and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know, you have to like know when to get it, and then you have to apply, analyze all that.
Is that
So
it? That's all I
about
have to
it.
say.
Yeah.
But good luck, and
See you next. I volunteer.
But yeah, thank you.
See you.
So, just a couple of tips that you can use for lecture. Like other people have said, read your material ahead of time, but be on time. Always be on time. Try to print your stuff out. If you like to take your computer, that's fine. But normally, if you take the PowerPoints, you can make notes right next to the stuff. So that helps whenever you're reviewing because you'll remember it better. Well, that helped me. But always be on time. Get a recorder. A recorder helps me. But then some people record and then never listen to it, so that's not going to help. Get a recorder and listen to the lectures whenever you're going to clinicals, whenever you're heading to school, whenever. Just listen to it. You'll pick up new stuff that you didn't learn before. So it's going to help you. I started using a recorder early this semester, and it helped me to pick up my lecture grade. So that's really helped.
As far as lecture and getting the information, concepts are very big. It's a lot of information. There's no way you're going to remember every single detail. So if you can understand the concept in its entirety, you'll be able to apply it in every aspect of nursing and when you're caring for your patients. I think that's about all. Thanks. Bye.
One thing also is, have a desk designated, for your books and, whatever work you're going to be doing, a little corner, even if it's a table, whatever it is. And also have getting started with the Kaplan book. I find that the Kaplan book is a green book. You can buy that, and I think they give it to you for free at school once you get here. But if you had it, in advance, that would be a lot helpful. I would divide that up into the time that you have left until school starts and into systems, to get started on reviewing those things, because that will be like an eye-opener for you. Once you get started into the program, you're going to be familiar with a lot of things that you're going to need to know, and that's mostly in that Kaplan book. I don't think there's a lot of questions on there, but it's just good to read and understand, how the system works when it comes to diseases and all that stuff. So I highly suggest that because I wish I would have done that and it would have been a lot more clearer to me. Well, that's all I have for y'all, and thanks for listening.
My suggestion is finding whatever works best for you. Some people study in groups and that works out great. Some people study alone. What I kind of did is studied by myself at first and then studied in groups to bounce ideas off of each other. And that's kind of how we did it. And another thing is when you first start, make friends. Don't be shy about it. I was probably one of the shyest people when we started, and here I am now. I'm leading the group, and I don't know.
What can I say about some of the things I've learned that have been the most important? One of the most important things I think I've learned is if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it. The staff is here for you. Many times they've told us, if you need help, come to us. I was having a problem with testing and I needed more time, and I was encouraged to do it, and quite frankly I was embarrassed, but several professors and staffs encouraged me, said go, seek this out, and I filled out the paperwork and did what I needed to do, and it helped me tremendously. So if there's some area that you need help in, don't be afraid to go to one of the professors, one of the staff.
Also, we just wanted to give a plug for Student Nurse Association.
Yes.
And we wanted to make sure that we get you guys involved and make sure, like Justin said, make new friends. It helps out. They have their support system. And that is all I have to say. Go, Jenna.
Well, what I have to say is that when I started the nursing program, I was working. So what I suggest is if you have a job right now, I suggest to either part-time, or if you can quit, you should quit, because really the nursing program is very demanding. You need most of your time, I would say 100% of your time to devote to studying, working on your care plans and projects, and on clinical homework and stuff like that. So if you can quit your job, you should probably do it, because I personally had an experience that I had a hard time during the first semester while I was working as a student, mainly because I was trying to work about 30 hours a day during the week to be able to keep getting benefits from my job. And on top of that was trying to study and everything. Exams were, almost every Friday. I had a tough time in the first semester. So that's my advice to you guys. If you can quit your job, or at least maybe work during the weekends if you really have to work. And I know everyone has to pay bills and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, and nursing school is costly. You get the front page of scrubs and books, but then you have stethoscope and blood pressure cuff and shoes, socks, etc. So make sure you apply for any and all scholarships. I know Ms. Raymond for our class sent out a lot of scholarship links, and I applied for the biggest one that I saw, and I was fortunate enough to be granted that scholarship. And this is a scholarship that, as a single mom, I don't have to work now. It pays for all of my tuitions, books, supplies, etc., and gives me a monthly stipend so I can support me and my daughter on a monthly basis. This really helps me because it takes away from having to work or having to think about how we're going to pay the rent, how I'm going to feed her. Now I can go to school and just focus on my studies. So money is definitely out there. Don't let anyone discourage you from at least applying. It does not hurt to apply. It takes time, yeah, and the more money that it costs, the more time it's going to take. But if you think about 2 years of no tuition, plus you're getting paid a good monthly wage just to go to school, it's worth it. So go out there and look. I know that Johnson & Johnson has some, the school has some, a lot of hospitals have their own. Just try. It does not hurt to try.
It's overwhelming, but try not to get overwhelmed. Do something that will release the stress. Take an hour off, go eat, come back, look at it again, but try not to get too overwhelmed with this information, and always consult with your instructors. They're a great group, and they will, help you out with anything and everything that you need. If you don't understand something, ask a question. Even if it's already been asked, ask again until you understand it. I think that's it. So, good luck.
So you made the decision and you're here, and I say welcome to you. So if I could tell you any things about my experience in the nursing school here at Lone Star, would be 4 things. I call them the 4 A's. It would be attitude. Number 1, attitude is very important when you're coming into this program, because you're going to be faced with many things that's going to, I would like to say, change you in the process. And so your attitude is very important. You want to stay positive, as much as possible. Life happens, but move on. Then you want to also think about your academics. A lot of you are coming in here with 4.0s. You're going to have to embrace the possibility that may not be maintained throughout this tenure, okay? It just happens. Don't sweat it. You just keep rolling up your sleeves and keep going, keep moving. Never give up. You cannot fail in this program. So you got attitude, academics. Next thing would be adversity. Through adversity, I can tell you many things that came up with the fires this past year. My car, I had an encounter with my gate in my apartments. It was the gate's fault, not my fault. But got over that. So through adversity, family issues, sickness, if at all possible, press on, okay? Remember, attitude is very important. Remember, academics, do your best, but don't give up. And remember that adversity will come. So overall, the big umbrella of things is adaptation. You just change with your environment, adapt. You have to learn that anyway as a nurse, to prioritize, to be able to do things pertinent to the situation at hand. So those are my 4 points to you. Congratulations, and I wish you all well. Bye-bye.